Every world has rules, and in Aldan, there is only one that truly matters. The three tribes of Aldan must remain perfectly in balance. Break that balance, and the whole world begins to unravel. That's the story I'm trying to tell. Over the past couple of weeks, I've been building this fantasy world as part of a much bigger idea, creating a game that reconnects people with nature. In my last video, I introduced the concept itself, but worlds don't make people care. Characters do. When you think about your favorite fantasy stories, chances are you don't remember every city, every kingdom, or every piece of lore. You remember Frodo, Sam, Gandalf. You remember the people who made those worlds feel real. So this week, I've been asking myself one question. Who are the creatures of Aldan? And perhaps more importantly, what makes them human? One of the books I cherish is On Writing by Stephen King. He says that building characters comes down to two main things: paying attention to how people behave, and then telling the truth about what you see. I really like the idea, because although my characters are all animals, they aren't supposed to behave like animals. Belin, the creator of Aldan, granted them sentience after humanity destroyed almost all life on the planet. They think, they lead, they make mistakes, they have fears, ambitions and flaws just like humans do. So rather than asking, what would an otter do? I've been asking myself, what kind of person would this otter become? That simple change has completely transformed how I've approached the story. The first character I've built is probably the most important, because without him, there isn't really a story. His name is Luthra, and he's the elder of the Planetes tribe, and he believes that Aldan needs one ruler, him. What's interesting though is that I don't really think of him as a villain at all, even though he is the kind of archetypal villain, the main villain of the story. So you see, Luthra genuinely believes that bringing Aldan under one leader is the best way to protect it. The problem is how he goes about achieving it. He manipulates creatures, he destroys an entire bloodline to seize power, and he becomes absolutely obsessed with possessing the opal, the sacred object that holds the balance between the three tribes. But underneath all of that confidence is something much more relatable: insecurity. Luthra constantly compares himself with the other elders. He worries that he's not respected, that he isn't worthy. That fear drives almost everything he does. And I think the most dangerous characters aren't the ones who know they're evil. They're the ones who believe they are doing good and they're justified. On the opposite side of the story is our hero, Erminia. She's the last surviving stoat after Luthra wipes out her bloodline. Unlike most fantasy heroes, she doesn't want this responsibility at all. She's quiet, she's uncertain, and she severely doubts herself. In fact, she'd much rather stay hidden than become the creature Aldan needs. I believe that's much more interesting than someone who simply knows they're destined to save the world. Most of us don't wake up believing we're capable of extraordinary things. We discover it over time, and that's the journey I want Erminia to go on. Not becoming stronger, but becoming more confident in who she already is. Then there's Barbatus. Now, if Luthra represents ambition, Barbatus represents service. He's the elder of the Saltus, the mountain tribe, and probably the wisest creature in Aldan. His loyalty isn't really to his own creatures. It's to Aldan itself. Sometimes that makes him extremely unpopular with the very creatures he's trying to protect. But I think that's what makes him a compelling character. He's willing to sacrifice anything, including himself, if it means preserving the balance of Aldan. He's the kind of leader who asks what's right, not what's good for me. And finally, there's a fourth main character, Sinalisa. Now, she's the leader of Mare, the elder of Mare, the creatures of the coast and the sea. Now, while Barbatus is patient, she is decisive. Where he looks at the whole world, she instinctively protects her own tribe first. The Made have spent generations feeling overlooked by the land tribes, so Sinalisa has become fiercely protective of them. She's strategic, she's intelligent, she's incredibly loyal, and she isn't afraid to act. She and Barbatus both want to protect Aldan. They just fundamentally disagree on how to do it. Those kind of disagreements, I think, are much more interesting than simple heroes and villains. As these four characters have started to take shape, something else quite interesting has happened. The tribes themselves have started to develop personalities of their own, which is going to be an important part of the game as well as the story. The Planetes are the innovators of Aldan. They're sophisticated, organised, and perhaps a little too convinced of their own superiority. The Saltus tribe are resilient mountain dwellers, proud, dependable, slow to trust outsiders. And the Made tribe have become adaptable and strategic. Living between land and sea has made them excellent problem solvers, but also deeply loyal to one another. Those identities won't just shape the story of Aldan, but they'll shape the gameplay of the game too. Different strengths, different philosophies, different ways of seeing the same world. One thing I've really found fascinating is that I started this project thinking I'd be designing a game, but more and more it feels like I'm studying people. What motivates some people to lead? What causes someone to seek power? Why do some people choose cooperation while others choose control? Those questions are turning out to be far more interesting than deciding what colour a character should be or what kind of skill they have. I think they'll make Aldan a much richer world because of it. So, that's where the project stands today. The world is beginning to feel alive. Not just because I've finished building it, I'm nowhere near finished building it, but because its characters are finally starting to surprise me and take on a life of their own. In the next video, I'm going to move away from specific characters and dive much deeper into the world itself. The ecosystems, the regions, the creatures beyond these four main characters, and how all of these pieces fit together in a world that hopefully feels like somewhere you'd actually want to explore. I'll see you in the next one.